Okay, so we're going to start now. We have some people today from France, from Ireland, from the UK, both from Wales and Northern Ireland, mainly. So first, I would like to very much thank the collaboration with our project partners from Big Innovation in Wales, the Northern Ireland Food and Drink Association in Northern Ireland, and also the National University of Ireland, Galway, and Paul Valorial in France. Without the collaboration, it wouldn't be possible to implement this webinar. My name is Noelia Dosil. I am an Innovation Project Manager in Closaga. Closaga is the Galicia food cluster in the northwest of Spain. So in today's webinar, my colleague Daniel will guide you through the main insights and conclusions from a study we've done on the market and consumer and innovation trends in the dairy sector, which are, of course, up to date. And we hope that would help you to define your innovation and market strategies. So before we go into the actual presentation of that report, I would like to share my screen and introduce you a bit the context in which this report has been done. I believe you can see my screen now. Okay, so this report has been done in the context of the AHFES project. AHFES is an international funded project, a European project, which started in March 2019, and it will be in course until August 2022. So this project was set taking into account the common context of the different regions involved in the project, which are the Atlantic coast from Spain and Portugal, Atlantic coast from France, and also UK and Ireland. Of course, these territories have in common that the food sector is a priority, both in terms of economic relevance, which is reflected in economic policies, but also have a challenge of trying to foster healthier food and lifestyles, which is also reflected in public health policies. But of course, this cannot be bring to reality without trying to foster the innovation capacity of the SMEs. So actually, the common challenge of the regions that work in AHFES is try to accelerate the growth of those SMEs by stimulating the cooperation, innovation, and the development of solutions in a jointly manner. For that, the objective of AHFES is to try to develop a sort of common services and training actions through a transnational innovation ecosystems that are tailored to the needs and adapted to the SMEs. My screen is not working. Okay, now. As said, AHFES has the AHFES partners have defined a whole set of services, including 10 services that are tailored to the needs of the SMEs in this territory. So this set of services is quite diverse, going from services that are more have more a nature of innovation intelligence, let's say, so kind of reports that collect key information that is useful for the companies. Then a few more interactive services trying to foster the establishment of alliances, collaborations, and innovation projects. Then there's a third group of services more focused on business growth. And then finally, let's say the internationalization of the SMEs. So in the group of the innovation intelligence services, we have the development of these consumer and market trend reports, which is, let's say, the service in which today we're going to present this dairy sector report. In this specific service, we will develop 6 more reports in other subsectors. We are now working in one focused on soft drinks, which we hope the webinar will be done in, let's say, September, I believe. So you will receive the information when the date is set. Other relevant services that we, or I think could be relevant for you, is the development of reports more focused on the identification of nutritional R&D trends. So maybe not trends that have not reached the market yet, but are being researched in the universities and technology centers. So we know that in the next years, they will drive a change in the market. Of course, the supporting the establishment of innovation alliances, not just in your regions, but also with other complementary partners in Spain or in Portugal, in France as well. The identification of R&D funding calls, for example, this information is available through the AHFES website. So you have here a whole range of services that you can access through the project website. AHFES does not only provide those services, but we are also developing a set of training programs, which are now already being implemented and will be in place until May 2022. So these 4 training programs have in common that they want to support SMEs in developing and launching successful products in this segment of healthy food and drinks. The first program, which focused on consumer insight and market understanding, is already available. You can access it through the AHFES website. The training program 2 will be soon available as well. This one focuses more on product lifecycle management. And then in the after summer, we're going to launch the training programs on market development and product development, critical path management. These training programs are quite self-paced. So you can follow some of the modules or all the modules. You can attend the webinar and training sessions that will be organized lively or broadcasted for the different training programs. So really you can adapt them as good for you as you think is convenient. You can also have more information through the AHFES project website. Although all this information is available through the project website, actually there are a few specificities in how we are providing the services and the trainings in the different regions, because each of us try to adapt the services and the provision of the training actions to how we work with our members or our companies, let's say. So my advice would be not only to access the website, but also to directly contact the contact point, let's say, in your region. And I suppose that for the ones that are today in this webinar will be mainly Big Innovation for organizations in Wales, NIFDA for Northern Ireland, and also Valorial for our French colleagues here today. So yeah, please feel free to contact them and see how the AHFES project can support you. Nothing more on my side. You will have this presentation after the webinar. More information can be found here. I also invite you to follow the project on social media so you can stay tuned, and nothing more. So thank you, merci, and diolch. So Daniel, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know whether You can see it.
Yes, Daniel, can see
Perfect. It. Okay, so thank you, Noelia. My name is Daniel Alvarez. I'm coordinating the insights area of Cluster Alimentario de Galicia, Galicia Food Drink Cluster. It's a pleasure to present you this webinar, Dairy Sector in 2021, Consumer Trends, Market and Innovations. In this webinar, we're going to present data about market, consumer preferences, and innovations in the dairy and alternative dairy sector, with a special focus on health. Our geographical focus, as Noelia mentioned, is Europe, but with a special attention to AHFES countries: France, Ireland, Portugal, Spain, and UK. We're going to have a look to production, value, and volume of sales, new products development, main positionings, consumer trends, and market health claims. Our main information sources were Innova database, Innova Market Insights, Global Data, and European Commission databases, among others. This is the first report of a series of consumer market and innovation reports that represent one of the several innovation support services for SMEs implemented in the scope of the project AHFES. The first chapter will be global and European market. 1 second, please, because I don't see the top of my screen. Okay. Well, the dairy sector is growing worldwide, and this is driven by a strong demand of countries such as India or Pakistan, for instance, as you can see in this table on the right. Milk is one of the most valuable products globally, and global milk production reached about 900 million tons, in 2020, which is more than 2% than 2019. Asia is the top milk producer, followed by Europe. Milk is the main dairy product in terms of market value and volume, followed by cheese and yogurt. It is predicted a growth of, it has been a growth of 4.9% in volume and 5.2% in value for milk is expected in the period 2019 to 2024. And additionally, drinkable yogurt is forecasted to be the fastest growing category within that period. The European Union accounts with 38% of the share of global dairy sales value and produces about 25% of the world's total cow's milk. Germany is the main milk producing country in Europe, and in AHFES country is France. And about 1/3 of milk production is traded within the EU as dairy products, as you can see here in the graph and table on the right. Cream for diet consumption, yogurts, butter, cheese, etc. There has been a positive growth of milk sales and launches in the period 2015-2019, and also a positive growth of dairy sales and launches in the same period. Internationally, dairy trade increased by 1.2 in 2020, and China is the world's largest importer. New Zealand, the US, and the EU are the main suppliers of international import demand. Here in this graphic, you can see how several dairy products has grown or decreased in the last 2 years. For instance, cheese, whole milk powder, whey, and other dairy products have increased, and there has been a reduction in products such as butter or skim milk powder. The EU is one of the world's top 3 players for dairy exports, together with New Zealand and the US, and the European Union is also the world's biggest exporter of cheese. Japan is a top importer of cheese, while China is a top importer of packed milk and skim milk powder. The European Union exports are expected to continue increasing in line with the increasing demand for these dairy products. For instance, the main dairy products that are exported are packed milk, cheese, skim milk powder, and whey. Europe counts with several countries among the main companies worldwide in the dairy sector, And for instance, France counts with 4 companies among the top 15, so you can see here in this table. In this second chapter, we're going to explore the healthy dairy new products development and the main positionings. Spoonable yogurts, semi-hard and hard cheese, and dairy-based ice cream and frozen yogurt are the main 3 categories in terms of market penetration. But what is interesting is that so 2 of these categories of cheese, semi-hard and hard cheese, and dairy-based ice cream and frozen yogurt are growing, as well as dairy alternative drinks. In terms of positioning, there is a strong presence of ethical positionings. This means that consumers are more aware about the environment, more aware about climate change, about social corporateness, and also about animal welfare. And this is translated into labels and translated into increasing number of products carrying these labels, showcasing storytelling about the protection of the environment and the care of the companies for animal welfare and also for the protection of the workers. Also, there is a big presence of convenience. Convenience means simply on-the-go products. This means that we have now an accelerated or a rapid lifestyle, and so companies are providing packages and packagings which are portable, which are easy to carry, and this is translated in this table regarding positionings. Also, there's a strong presence of naturalness, so natural products, no additive preservatives, organic, and of course, health claims, which I'm going to go through in the next slides. The main passive health claims are the ones carrying claims such as free, no, low, or reduced, which are present in almost half of dairy launches. For instance, gluten-free, low, no, reduced fat, lactose-free, no additive preservatives, etc. And we have to pay attention to strong growing growing claims such as high or source of protein with a growth of 12%, no added sugar or natural. Here you can see an example of a fermented milk product with high amount of protein. Companies target also specific age groups to cover particular health demands, for instance, kids, for which the main health claim is no additive preservatives. You can see an example with this drinkable yogurt, which is a source of calcium for bones, no other colors, and no artificial sweeteners. Also, products targeting aging, healthy aging, in which active health claims such as vitamin, mineral fortified, added calcium, or bone health are present. This is an example of a margarine, which is a source of calcium and vitamin D2, ideal for people over 50 years of age, maintaining healthy bone structure. In terms of AHFES countries, the main country with the most products launched was France, and you can see on the right a table with the top 5 brands. Most of the products are branded, but we have to pay attention to private labels as they cover 1/3 of the European dairy market, and they are growing at a rate of almost 8%. Regarding the main health claims in AHFES countries, we can see in this table, so this table basically shows according to the intensity of color, which are the main health claims. I have pointed out the main 2, which are no additive preservatives and low, no reduced fat. But what's interesting is also growing trends, which are labeled by an asterisk. For example, high source of protein is growing, lactose-free is growing, natural is growing. Here you have some examples with the cheese with 38% of less fat in Spain, flavored creamer, vanilla flavored creamer which is gluten-free and fat-free in UK, or this yogurt with no additives in France. In this next chapter, we are going to go through the top trends we have identified. The first one is health and immune system. So consumers are more aware about their diet and about health. And choices are based on specific nutritional needs and health concerns. For example, there are several even growing trend of functional ingredients which aid gut, immune, and mental health, which are being promoted. We have seen that 45% of consumers in an Innova consumer survey in 2020 are interested in learning about ingredients that improve their immune system. And the claim immune health, for instance, has grown 9% in the Europe new launches. We have some examples. For example, drinking yogurt with probiotics, 40% less sugar and added with vitamins to help the defenses, Spain. Or a drinking yogurt, which is fat-free with no added sugar and source of vitamins to support the immune system, the UK. Or this quart, which is called the good gut, which is a source of fiber, high in vitamin and protein, 0% fat, which protect our gut. The second trend is personalized nutrition, which is somehow linked to the first one. 2 out of 3 consumers, global consumers, found more ways to tailor their life and the products they bought to their individual style, beliefs, and needs. We have here some examples. For example, this yogurt, which contains 25 grams of protein. The protein contributes to the maintenance and growth of muscle mass. This is targeting sports, exercise. Or this fermented milk, which is important for healthy bones and teeth, source of protein and calcium. Or this other milk, which helps our immune system with several vitamins, zinc, etc. The third trend is improved mood health. So there is an increasing number of ingredients which are incorporated into the new products for an improved mood. For example, for calming, for relax. Ingredients such as L-theanine or adaptogens, which aids with relaxation, sleep, nervous, etc. The fourth trend is on the go healthy snackification. So we have a more rapid and accelerated lifestyle. Thus, consumers are seeking products which are portable, to go, convenient. So, for instance, we have here some examples about cheese cubes, which are rich in protein. So, products which are convenient and portable, but also healthy, right? To change a bit the paradigm, the scenario from years and decades, previous years and decades. So we're seeking now for snacks which are healthy. These other cheese sticks, which are reduced in fat, kefir in a portable bottle, rich in protein and probiotics, source of calcium, vitamins, or this rice drink, which is lactose-free, have no added sugar, and is gluten-free in a portable version. Next trend is transparency and naturalness. I don't see very well my top screen, but I think you understood me properly. Transparency, clean labeling describing the characteristics of the product, respond to the consumer's concern for environment, ethical aspects, or animal welfare. 3 out of 5 global consumers say that they are interested in learning more about their about where their food comes and how is it made. We have here a little picture showing the clean label evolution towards labels with explaining human animal welfare, shorter value chain, transparent supply chain, bet for local products to promote local economies. Those are some examples. For example, this organic yogurt made in Portugal, which is made with ingredients of sustainable origin, or this cheese, lactose-free cheese in France, which is made from milk that has been collected locally with an average radius of 25 kilometers around the factory. Next trend is plant-based. So there has been a growth of claims such as plant-based, vegan, and vegetarian. We have seen in our database an increase of 3% of alternative dairy launches with a slight decrease in 2020, probably due to the pandemic, but this is growing. Consumers say it is healthier, it brings variety to their diets, it's better for the planet. For example, those are some examples of an oat drink in a cashew yogurt. The main health claims in alternative dairy products are gluten-free, lactose-free, and organic, but there are also some increasing health claims such as no added sugar, vitamin, mineral fortified, added calcium, or no additives, preservatives. Last trend is hybrid dairy. This is a trend which is coming. It means simply a blend of dairy and non-dairy based products. The idea is to bring together the properties of both worlds. And there are some statistics which, for example, 75% of the UK population who use plant-based alternatives also use the standard dairy milk. So this is a trend which is coming more and more into Europe. In this next chapter, we're going to have a look to the categories of the dairy sector, and we start by milk. Cow milk is, of course, the main subcategory with more launches in Europe. And the main health claims is a similar table as I presented previously, where intensity of the cells show which are the main health claims. For instance, low, no reduced fat, and high source of protein are two of the main health claims, but we have to pay attention to organic and lactose-free, which is growing in almost all AHFES countries. Those are some examples, for example, of organic natural, which is the claim with the highest growth among AHFES countries. It's an oat drink. Sorry, they shouldn't be here because it's an oat drink, not a normal drink. Sorry for that. Milk with passive health claims. For instance, there's skim milk in Spain with 0% fat, or this lactose-free semi-skim milk in Portugal, or made with active health claims. So a source of protein, enriched with vitamins, etc. All this, for example, this flavored milk in Ireland containing 33 grams of protein, which with an extra whey protein and 1% fat content. Second category of subcategory will be cheese. In cheese, the main subcategory in Europe is semi-hard and hard, followed by soft and semi-soft and fresh cream. There's an example in France of a semi-soft cheese from cow's milk. The main health claims are no additives, preservatives, and low, no reduced fat. But high source of protein is growing, as well as organic and lactose-free. Those are some examples of cheeses with no additives, preservatives, which is the most popular claim among AHFES countries. Other example of a cheese with a claim of high source of protein in Ireland, and free from or passive health claims, which are recurrent claims such as lactose-free or less fat. Regarding yogurt, the main subcategory is spoonable dairy yogurt, but we have to remember that drinking yogurt is growing, so we have to pay attention to drinking yogurt. The main health claims are low, no reduced fat, no additive, preservatives, and gluten-free. But we have to pay attention to the growing trends, the growing health claims, which will be no additive preservatives, which is growing in almost all AHFES countries, high source of protein as well, growing in all of them, all of them, and no added sugar. So some examples with low, no reduced fat, which is the most popular claim, and protein is growing. So we have here two examples, one low in fat and high in protein, and the other one containing 50 grams of protein. Now, additive preservatives present a strong growth. Here we have an example in France with this vanilla flavored creamy Greek style yogurt with no colorants or artificial flavor, and other recurrent passive health claims such as 0% fat or no added sugar, here, as you can see here in this natural yogurt in Ireland, or high protein, 0% added sugar, 0% fat, and gluten-free in this unflavored yogurt in Spain. Regarding this last category, dairy alternatives, The main subcategory is dairy alternative drinks, followed by spoonable yogurt, non-dairy, and other products. Here we have an example about an almond drink in Ireland. The main health claims in alternative dairy products are gluten-free, lactose-free, and organic, but no additive preservatives is growing, as well as active health claims such as vitamin, minerals, fortified, or added calcium. You'll have some examples of lactose-free, gluten-free, and organic, which are the most popular claims, as I mentioned. This is a gluten-free and organic rice and coconut drink in France, no lactose oat drink in Portugal. And then on the right, we have products with active and passive health claims, such as this lactose-free, gluten-free vegan slices with no preservatives. In Spain, this organic vegan spreadable with rapeseed, coconut, shea, and almond in UK, or this mango flavored soy yogurt with no added sugar in Portugal. So in conclusion, we can say that the global demand for dairy products is growing. European Union is a major player globally in the dairy market. It's also one of the top players regarding dairy products export. Yogurt is one of the fastest growing category, especially in the drinkable form. And there's a strong presence of ethical and convenience positionings, as well as passive free health claims. Also, there's a strong growth of organic and natural products with no additive preservatives. So in general, we can say that there is a great scope for innovation of healthy food products in the dairy sector. For instance, healthy snacks, novel ingredients, nutrition and mood-focused, plant-based alternatives, sustainable production, and natural free-form products. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention. Please be aware that this study will be available as well as more project information at the website. And we are also going to provide you the link to this study in an email. Thanks for your attention, and please feel free to make any comment or any questions.
So if you have any questions, well, you can use the chat if you wish, but we also invite you to just activate your microphone and make them speaking. So.
Well, if I could just jump in, just ask a couple of queries to start a discussion. I'm just interested to know if you have any information on who's leading some of the changes, whether it's from the retailers themselves. I mean, one point that jumped out at me was the jump in organic in France. Is that predominantly around, a single, Carrefour, some of the larger retailers doing an own branded version and having it organic, or is this just a trend across all the manufacturers within that region? I mean, you may or may not have this information to you, but I just think it's interesting to know whether or not it's being led by the retailers or by large manufacturers, or in fact being led by small artisan groups who are, leading the way by in being inventive and recreating this sort of the sector. So have you much information in that area? Did you come across much that you can remember? I don't expect you to be able to rhyme off some of the stuff, just a random question like this.
Yeah, so actually it's a good question, because in France there's a lot of little retailers which are promoting bio, for instance, organic food. So of course this is a general trend to what the market and the big manufacturers are adapting to. But it's true that in France there's a lot of little brands and little companies which are betting for bio and organic, especially there. Yeah, so I would say
small. So small companies that would be involved within the AHFES project, who may be dealing with specialist retailers, they can have an opportunity if they have sort of products that represent these smaller segments to sort of promote their products within the specialist retail section.
Definitely. Yeah, so I think it's a good opportunity, especially there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see that it's changing, and this hybrid, adopting hybrid, is an example of how the market's evolving, how smaller companies can become involved, and how they can help promote the changes that are happening. Because a lot of what's happening within the dairy sector is happening across other sectors, whether it's breakfast cereals or whether it's even chocolate bars and things are trying to be seen to be more healthy. And I noticed even Sainsbury's branding one of the products that you showed as an immune booster. That's obviously really jumping on the bandwagon with the pandemic over the last year. So it really is. People can capture markets by just reading the trends or reading what people's thoughts or sentiments are on what they expect from food products.
Yeah, definitely. This is something also transversal into other sectors. We have seen this. Well, not the very same, not hybrid dairy or other, which are maybe more related to dairy itself, but definitely what you mentioned about the improved mood. We have seen this, you will see it in the soft drinks presentation, because they are adding a lot of ingredients such as CBD, for example, adaptogens, to many new drinks. So definitely this is something that can be taken as a guideline, as those top trends are transversal. Most of them are transversal. Yeah,
I think this is the key. It's the key for smaller companies. They can adapt and be leaders, really, and they can be more versatile than sometimes larger companies. And obviously don't have the resources, but they can be versatile in changing direction quicker.
Yes,
what we found.
Yeah.
Daniel, do you think that there's a lot of the products that you're seeing have not just got one single claim, but they are maybe putting one claim on top of another?
Yes, it's true. They're trying to to add as much as they can. That's right. So there are several main claims that they normally use, but definitely as much. So the more they can add, it's a help. No, we are more checking the labels, and we are more aware about what we eat. So everything that can be added, which will be healthy. Of course, there are some claims which, well, depending on the sector, gluten-free, for example, in drinks. Well, of course, we have to pay attention to that. But in the bakery sector, of course, super important. But there are other sectors which, it's supposed that these products don't carry gluten. But yeah, so definitely the claims are therefore being used, and of course they have to explain what they have. They cannot lie, but definitely there's a mix of active, passive health claims together with ethical claims, new packaging, more sustainable packaging. So I think companies should pay attention to all of these trends, because they can definitely make a blend and have new products with more attractive with little changes, more attractive to consumers.
Yeah. So maybe a few things you can put together, but not so many. It becomes confusing. Your message becomes confusing. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, well, the other implication is, for the sort of compliance and legal, what you can actually claim on your product.
Yeah,
it needs to be supported. It needs to be, obviously accurate. And I think the consumer themselves want to see that they can believe some of the claims that are made, that they aren't sort of exaggerated, that they are something that they can have trust in without having to further investigate that the claims are right. You don't want the yogurt to claim that it can cure all ills. That's just, it's something that it can't be done. So it's just trying to find that fine line where you're promoting what the selling part of the product is, unique selling prospect, and then the not making the claim too outrageous.
Yeah, they have to follow the guidelines, the Codex Alimentarius, and of course the guidelines of each country. But we hope that in Europe at least this is well done, because yeah, so there's a clear guidelines for that, and you cannot claim something you don't have. But of course, it's important to pay attention to.
Just on the growth, I was just going to ask then, is the growth, is this based on actual sales as well? So volume of product that's being sold and consumed, but also the value of it. So I would imagine as the snackification and these other products come in, they come in at an enhanced pricing point, so that in itself would increase the value of the market because the product's being sold. I mean, obviously your original milk that we now see in the sort of plastic containers, it's a very competitive area to be trying to sell in. But these areas, the small snacks and things, they would sell for a premium. So is it both? We're increasing the volume. In other words, there's more units being sold, but also the actual value of the sector. Would you say it's the value of the sector is increased, or the units? Would you have any evidence to support any of those?
It's a good question. I have to check that because I didn't pay attention to that, but it's interesting. Well, there is a premium or indulgent category where brands are manufacturing new products, which is special for well, maybe special ingredients which are more expensive. But I have to check that. But I'll say that well, there is always a little extra price, but I had to check this. For these portable options, because the idea is to target all consumers. So, but I need to check this. I need to check this because I'm not sure if this is a general rule or can be that for these portable versions, the price can be a bit higher. Yeah, I need to check.
Traditionally, as the added value segment of the market increases, obviously then the value of it will increase, but we're not necessarily selling more units. We're just increasing the cost and the value of them. So it's just interesting. It just means it's more profitable for people to have a market to go into, with more of a margin to be made.
Yeah.
I would like to give the floor to Najib Brahimi. He has the hand raised. He or she, sorry.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. He.
Thank you. Thank you very much. As you said, I'm Najib Brahimi. I'm Associate Professor in Supply Chain Management from Rand School of Business. This is a very interesting topic. Thank you very much. I have two questions. The first one is, did you identify any differences in terms of growth of certain of the demand of or the market of certain products between countries or the AHFES project? Is it the same growth, for example, of drinkable yogurt between all these countries, or the trend is rather stable in some countries and then growing fast in others? So this is my first question. And the second question is related to the logistics and distribution capabilities of these SMEs. So we have innovation is good, and we've seen many innovations, but do they have these capabilities for distribution and the logistics to put their products on the shelves for the end consumer? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your questions. Yeah, I'm gonna answer the first one. For the second one, I think I'll open the floor for everybody because I think you might have more information than me. So for the first one, definitely. So I have I don't know if you can still see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. So if you see, there are some asterisks in some of the countries close to the percentage. So this asterisk means that this trend or this claim is growing in this very country, right? So yeah, there are definitely differences between countries, also differences between products, but you can see this in all products. For example, in this slide, we can see that the organic trend is growing for milk in France, but it's not growing in UK, for example, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, so we're going to share this presentation and for you to maybe go into detail and we can still talk further about that. But yeah, so I didn't want to go into detail country by country, because this will be maybe time consuming, but of course this will be explained in the presentation and also in the report. And you can see here clearly the differences, which claims are growing per dairy category in which country. I didn't mention how much is growing. I have the data my own, if I can kindly provide it. I just mentioned the ones which are growing. Of course, some of them are growing like 40%, some of them like 3%. There are differences. So if you are interested, I can provide you this data.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
About second question.
Yeah, second question regarding the capabilities for distribution. Maybe some of my colleagues have more information than me right now. I open the floor for all of you.
In relation to the second question, but not answering probably.
But indirectly with this first question, is that mean that the country are not at the same stages?
Sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Do you think that it links to the stages the country are in?
What do you mean by the stages?
The level was how can I say
so Barbara, do you mean that some countries a trend is much more well developed in one country and less developed in another country?
Yeah, because they are the beginning of the market. They started later, for example, so the development is stronger, faster than the other one, because
you might, I think you're right. For example, in terms of innovation, in certain claims, we've seen that France and the UK are launching a lot of new products. So I would say that France and UK are pretty advanced in certain claims for certain products. Definitely, yeah. Among Europe, there are differences. For example, in organic, France will be the leader in terms of new ingredients such as adaptogens, or so ingredients which can have an effect in our mood. I would say the UK is launching a lot of new products. So definitely it's not the same among all the AHFES countries. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, two points. I would like to raise, as you can see those figures on the screen at the moment, the UK at 41% and Ireland at 58% for the high source of protein. They're obviously going to be related in some way because the markets are very close, geographically close. So any trend that's happening within that marketplace is spilling over across the two. So we could then take the growth that we're seeing in France for the organic, then that's going to spread. If there's as the market jump like a 33%, so you could see that spreading into northern Spain. You could see it spreading across to Portugal, or across further north in the northern countries of Europe. So it may be that once the trend starts in an area, if it does catch on, it moves as across a region also. The other question that was referred to, if I heard it correctly, referenced logistics. The difficulty for people working within this area is the time frame, because it's perishable products and it has a very short shelf life. Someone who's operating from Ireland will not really successfully be able to trade fresh product into northern Spain without a very efficient logistics and transport system in place. And that's something, because if a product has 1 or 2 days short shelf life, as it arrives on a store, it can be rejected. It may have a minimum shelf life that it has to arrive by. So it can be very difficult for companies to develop business that way. So if you are looking at products with short shelf life, I would advise that you grow out from where you are at the moment, and where your logistics are good, and not try and leapfrog into a separate market with such a short shelf life.
And it probably varies by category, Harry. So, I mean, certain hard cheeses, for example, might have a much longer shelf life, whereas a drinking yogurt might be a short shelf life. So again, back to Barbara's point is, not only are there differences between the countries, but there are probably differences between each of these categories. And if we have we haven't mentioned ice cream, for example, but that again would probably be having similar trends of, mood food, snackification, and obviously a frozen product is much easier to transport, probably not cheaper, but easier.
No, it's got the shelf life, so you can store, at forward logistics hubs, consolidation hubs, can be stored where then you can transport from, as opposed to having to transport it directly across such a wider region. So each product will have its own limitations or advantages equally. So is there any other chats there, see?
So it was just me trying to say, trying to add something on the second question from Professor Brahimi. I'm afraid that was a bit complementary to the topic of the webinar today. So my basic only contribution was to say that, of course, and maybe Alison would add on this. This is information that is relevant and useful for SMEs to note which are the trends, to keep on track of how the market is evolving, how consumers are evolving. But of course, we don't follow as an SME. An SME doesn't follow trends just because they are trendy. So this is information that SMEs have to fit with fit and reflect, taking into consideration their capacities, their market strategy, their vision, and introduce that in their innovation strategies and their product life cycle management strategies. So, and based on that, Alison, we have a great training program that we are promoting.
Yes, thanks, Noelia. Yeah, fantastic. Well, if anybody is looking for help in those areas, we have training modules about benchmarking, which I think would be very helpful in this area. We have defining your brand values. We have a great module about product strategy. And creative ideas. And then that important thing, as Noelia said, about filtering down your ideas and making sure you're picking the best ideas for you. And always remembering that just because there's a gap in the market, there might not be a market in the gap. So we would, but yeah, please do come over to the website and, if that's training that you'd like for yourself, or if you've got new members joining your team, it's the time of year where businesses might be taking on a graduate. There's excellent training and support, and we're, the partners in all the countries are more than happy to work with our SMEs to support you on this journey to bring these healthy products to market and make them a success.
If I could just jump in, I would say yes, certainly. Would you continue to go to the website, because we have the other webinars that you may have missed. You can see copies and links to the recordings for those, and any upcoming webinars. There's one coming up on the 15th, which is to do with the low alcohol, low and low alcohol drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to hear Daniel saying about the drinking yogurts being in growth, because there's such a lot of competition now for adult drinking occasions. And we'll be having a look at that in our, what we've called our NOLO webinar, which is about zero and low alcohol drinks across the AHFES countries. So if anyone's interested, please come along on the 15th.
Yeah, so just go on to the AHFES website and go on to the webinars and the events, and you'll see that there's a whole range of webinars and training materials there. So, and it'll only continue to grow as the project continues until August of next year. So.
Okay, so I don't know if there are other questions from our participants today.
There's someone in the chat. Is that?
No, it was me again.
Okay.
Okay. So if there are no additional questions, as said, you will receive by email the presentation and the link to the report in the AHFES website. You can always follow the social media and visit from time to time the website to keep posted on new reports, new webinars, and access the services. As said, please keep in touch closely with Harry Hamilton from NIFDA here, Alison Hasselgrove from Big Innovation, and Blandine, I think Blandine Fortin from Valorial, or I hope she's in Paul Valorial, to have more information from the training actions and the services. So thank you very much for being here today. I know it's not good timing of the year to be in this kind of activities, but at least we hope it was useful for you. So thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.